Did you know that out of the nearly 8 billion people on this planet, only 1% are millionaires? If my math is correct, that makes about 56.1 millionaires. But how can you become a part of this remarkable statistic? This may still come as a shock to some of you, but there really is no shortcut to becoming rich overnight. But what you can do is drastically minimize the time it'll take for you to become rich, is to simply follow and learn what the rich do. From leveraging your money to learning how to sell, there are a wide variety of skills that all millionaires have in common. Welcome to Mouth of Money. Today, we'll be discussing 7 proven skills that'll make you rich. This is part 1 of a 2-part series. As you follow along, try to rate yourself in each skill. That way, you'll know what your weaknesses are and what you should improve and work on first. And if there's any skills on this list that you consider to be your strengths, then continue to build upon them. With that being said, let's begin. Number 1, patience. Perhaps one of the most crucial yet difficult skills to obtain is patience. You see, there are no shortcuts in life to getting rich quickly. And if you ever come across a get-rich-quick scheme, it's certainly a scam, and you need to run for the nearest exit. In reality, everything takes time, and anyone who is aiming to become rich needs to understand this. However, it's a lot deeper than that. Being patient means that not only do you work effortlessly for a long time, but you also do not back down whenever there are road bumps along the way. You will likely fail somewhere along the path, but if you can stay determined and stick through, you will eventually make it. Sometimes it may feel like you aren't making any progress, but being patient means you have to continue onward anyways. In his book, Atomic Habits, James Clear gave a nice analogy by quoting Jacob A. Riis. "When nothing seems to help, I go and look at a stonecutter hammering away at his rock, perhaps 100 times without as much as a crack showing in it. Yet at the 101st blow, it will split in two, and I know it was not that last blow that did it, but all that gone before." Precisely. But remaining patient and persistent requires another fundamental skill, and that is number 2, discipline. The backbone of relentless hard work is discipline. Everyone has goals in their life, whether it be to score high on an exam, to perhaps build an amazing physique in the gym, or to finally earn 6 figures. However, what separates the successful from the unsuccessful is discipline. If you can't show up consistently to study or work on your craft, you'll get absolutely nowhere. In fact, many argue that discipline is more important than motivation. You'll work at your goals not because you're motivated to achieve them, but because you have the discipline to work towards them. With these goals, you're essentially doing what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it, whether you feel like it or not. But how does one build discipline? There's no point in jumping in the deep end of the pool from the start if all it'll lead to is you drowning. Therefore, you need to start off in the shallow end. Let's say you want to wake up early in the morning. You will start by waking 5 to 10 minutes earlier than you normally do. Then you will continue to increase that time until you're able to wake up as early as you want to. Taking these baby steps will ensure that you don't feel overwhelmed or demotivated by taking on something you can't handle. Fundamentally, you shouldn't completely stop trying things that might seem hard initially. Some of those seemingly difficult tasks may prove to be fruitful. That's why you need the next skill, which is number 3, identifying opportunities. What may seem like trouble or something overwhelming might actually be a great opportunity in disguise. Therefore, if you want to be rich, you need to train yourself to identify opportunities as they come. The thing is, the human brain is wired to avoid situations with unexpected outcomes. This is what hinders us from taking risks, making us often miss opportunities that could have been life-changing. In fact, even the big companies out there have exhibited such behavior. We all know that Disney bought Marvel back in 2009. Since then, the many Marvel movies have been a huge success and have made Disney over $18 billion in profit. But did you know that there was a lot of initial resistance to that acquisition? The chief executive of Disney, Bob Iger, was highly skeptical of buying out Marvel. He believed it was too edgy and would tarnish the Disney brand. But the huge success of each and every Marvel movie is a testament to that initial assumption. Similarly, you need to be able to take such actions as well. But that doesn't mean that every supposed opportunity that you take will be highly successful. You may even fail more often than succeed. But as discussed earlier, if you're patient enough, eventually you will find that golden opportunity. And when you do, just make sure that you don't let it slip by. Number 4, continuous improvement. Humanity wouldn't be where it is now if we didn't strive to improve ourselves continuously. Just look at how far we've progressed in the last decade. From extremely advanced smartphones to self-driving cars, we've come a long way. And why did all of that happen? Because there was always someone out there who believed that the system could be improved, refined. Whether it be in reading more books per week or eating healthier every day, you've got to strive towards improving yourself every day to cultivate such a mindset. The goals don't have to be directly related to finance initially. Just embedding the concept of continuous improvement in your life will eventually affect everything you do. And yes, that means your financial life as well. That's exactly what the rich do. As the American billionaire Ty Warner put it, even perfection has room for improvement. The rich are always looking for ways to make their workflows efficient. This allows them to earn more with every minute that passes. In fact, there's another strategy they employ with their money that you can start doing as well. Which brings us to number 5, leveraging your money. What would your initial reaction be to getting a huge sum of money? Perhaps you'd buy a new car or even a house. But the thought of using that money to try and get more money is one that only invades the minds of a few. And those few are the ones that become rich. Sure, it sounds amazing to go out to fancy restaurants or drive luxurious cars whenever you want to, but all that money that's being spent is not going to give back any returns if you don't have an income-driven strategy in place. Eventually, your spending will outweigh what you make, and you'll be led back to where you started. But by spending that money elsewhere, you can totally avoid that situation. The rich know the importance of using their money to make more money instead of buying liabilities. They tend to aim towards assets that will generate them more income, whether it be investing in stocks, real estate, or opening a new business. There's always some shape or form in which money can help generate more income for them. Another efficient way to use your money is to outsource your activities, the ones that you consider to be tedious, to qualified professionals. We all have 24 hours in a day. If you can spend more of those hours working on high-income activities instead, you'll be able to fill up your bank account in no time. Oh, and make sure you're keeping track of how competent you are at each skill so that you know what to improve or build on. And if you found any of these skills to be useful so far, do subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on your chances of becoming rich. Number 6, detailed goal setting. What's easier to follow? A vague idea of where you're supposed to be headed, or a detailed map with every coordinate and location that's laid out for you, directing you every step of the way? Of course, the map, right? Well, that should apply to each and every goal that you set for yourself. Knowing what you want to achieve is great. But if you don't lay out the foundation on how you plan on achieving it, you will likely fail. Let's say you're aiming to earn $1,000. You might conclude that a single freelancing project makes you $100. So, in this scenario, you would need to perform a total of 10 projects to accomplish that goal of yours. Knowing this would make things a lot simpler for you than walking blindly in the dark without having a quantifiable objective in mind. A great way of achieving your goals is to simply write them down. Research at Dominican University in California, led by psychology professor Dr. Gail Matthews, had 270 participants work on goal setting. The study showed that writing their goals down made them 42% more likely to achieve them. So, the next time you're setting goals for yourself, make sure you have a pen and paper with you. But it shouldn't end there. We all can write our goals down once. In fact, many of us do that for our New Year's resolution, which never seems to play out well. That's why the next step is to view your goals on a regular basis and reassess them accordingly. This is a tactic that all rich people apply. As Peter Drucker, the father of modern management and author, once said, "If you can't measure it, you can't manage it," which reinforces the notion that you can't possibly determine whether or not you're successful, unless success is defined and tracked. Number 7, learning to sell. According to Forbes, Marketing experts say the average American is exposed to 4,000 to 10,000 ads each day. Let that sink in for a minute. If you're a new brand, standing out from that huge crowd becomes near impossible, especially considering the average attention span is about 7 seconds, which is shorter than a goldfish. Getting those eyeballs towards your services is hard enough, but if you're not able to retain your customers by blocking out the noise of your competitors, you'll certainly drown in the vast sea of competition. So how does one prevent this from happening? By being able to sell. It's a must-have skill if you truly want to convert attention into something of value, and then building and nurturing long-term relationships from that attention. People often perceive the ability to sell as the ability to deceive others, but that couldn't be further from the truth. You see, being able to sell is not to con people into giving you their money. In fact, it goes beyond than just acquiring money. When you go to give a job interview, you're selling yourself to the employers. You're trying to persuade them into believing that you're a great fit for the company. Another great example is the dating scene. You were able to convince your partner that you were a great match for each other, and that you two should progress things further, essentially through indirectly selling yourself. This is especially important in the world of business. It doesn't matter how valuable of a product or service you might have or provide. If you can't convince others that your product or service is worth experiencing, then it's basically invisible, which makes it all the more important for one to know the psychology of what triggers people to buy. The science behind persuading people to say yes to what you have to offer is highlighted well by Robert Cialdini's principles of persuasion. He discusses how reciprocity, scarcity, authority, commitment, liking, and consensus are some of the main factors that contribute to what consumers buy into and what they simply turn their heads away from. If you follow and master these proven methodologies, then you'll be able to rake in some serious money. The thing about becoming rich is it doesn't come without a price. You must be willing to give up certain things, make sacrifices, and be able to wait long enough before reaping any rewards. That's the name of the game. And if you want to learn more about additional skills that'll make you rich, then click on to the next video, part 2. See you there.